against the people she became friends with. But she was friends with basically a bunch of fucking Nazis. She would make the most
really?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We would joke about this.
What?
And then all of a sudden some Jews would come into her room, and then all of a sudden she's like, she becomes buddy with them. She starts no longer minding up the regular people. She kind of separates herself from them. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is why are you acting totally different all of a sudden? Then all of a sudden she'd get these rooms with these people that would come in them. And then she would start like flexing her fucking power. And then, so whether it was Diego, whether it was Boo Boo, it was Mr. I forget whatever, Anderson, whatever the fuck his name was, everybody was just kind of like, dude, that is what a weird bitch. Like, how could you do such a fucking 180 that quickly? And that's kind of like what she did. It was not organic. It was, and she's like this narcissistic person that just basically she wanted the fucking attention, the flattering, to run the fucking rooms. She's like a disgusting bitch. She's the type of woman that would leave her husband over pretty much anything. She only cares about she only cares about what she can gain from another person, basically. How it can flatter her fucking
shut the fuck up.
But no, there's a lot of people that are like this. And I can name dozens of names. And look, I am not shit. Like, I'm nobody important. I was never a celebrity. But it was really funny on here is how people were like, they navigate on this app. Like, they were scared because as if anybody on this app was actually anything worth shit. There were a few people in the very beginning, a few stragglers that remained. But anybody that, we can look at the largest rooms. You can think of all of the names. Who were they in real life? What power did they have? What influence do they have? Next to zero. They're nobodies.
So, Pepe, basically you're saying that you lost your little bit of clout that you had on this app, and then people started switching on you. That's what
No. That absolutely happened. But what was eye-opening was like,
why do you think you lost your clout, though, is the question.
I stopped making rooms.
Because he's anti-Semitic.
Nah, bro. It was Amber Rose, bro. That A-list celebrity.
Not Amber Rose.
I was big before she came
Yeah, man. It was an A-list celebrity, bro. God.
No, it happened. I don't know if you were on the app before. You can ask Matt and Beaver. White America was a thing for, what, a year and a half, 2 years?
I mean, I definitely remember White America. You would have at least maybe anywhere from at least an average 60 to even 100 plus in that at one point. I definally remember that.
It's when he started beefing with JB and Roger. That's when shit turned.
It was well before that. So no, what ended up, JB and Roger happened later than JB, and holy shit, I don't want to get into this, but JB was a hated person on this app.
JB is in one of the biggest rooms right now modding, and you are reminiscing about your greatest years on Clown House. This is what you do. You reminisce about your greatest years on Clown House. JB is modded in one of the biggest rooms running right now. Go look at it. Nobody cares. It's a huge room. But nobody cares what you have to say because you're not saying anything. You're reminiscing about your greatest years on Clown House. And Himothy, I want to apologize for using the N-word yesterday. I apologize. I'm sorry. I hope you'll accept my apology. But Pee-Pee here has brain rot. He's a former boxer. He's got early Alzheimer's, dementia. And
he used to solely basically fucking stream my rooms and record my fucking rooms and kiss my fucking ass, and I called his ass out for being a fucking dick sucker, and that's what you are. Like, you are literally a fucking leech.
Well, what do you mean?
You're somebody who's not entertaining. You can't entertain. You can't do anything. Except for record fucking rooms and come on stages where you're basically permitted to troll for a short period of time, and that's about it. I mean, it's fucking pathetic. But no, I mean, hold on a second. So, like, and even this, like you could say like when it comes to the people I would mod with, even back in the day, like you didn't see me just like treat people differently all of a sudden. Like JB, that was my biggest criticism of him. He was a dick sucker. He would come in, kiss ass. Then he was given a fucking mod badge. He found a grift where he grift after October 7th and be like, the Jews, well, we need to protect the Jews. We're gonna do a donation drive. And then he would start guilting people if they weren't going to all of a sudden I saw this pathetic pussy that was transformed into this Mr. Tough Guy. And I saw him mistreating somebody else on a stage. And I said, and I called him out on it. And he's like, you think you could check me in my room, Pepe? And then I call him a faggot and, whatever other stuff. And to me, it was...
Pepe, good for you. Congratulations for sticking up for yourself. And, you can always create your own room where you can be your own mod. And it's a video game. This is a social audio conference call video game. And you've had many accounts. I've had more accounts than anybody on this app. I've had over probably 100 accounts at this point. But here you are reminiscing about Walter, whatever the fuck his name was, and JB. Let's get back on topic. You guys want the truth? You came here to hear the truth? Come in and listen to the truth. Moderators, I'm asking for a room reset. You want to hear the truth? Come in. This is the President Trump House with Dr. Peepee, a super tan Corsican podcaster with microphones and earphones on. Here we are with Dr. and Timothy and Joe and Edward and Beaver and Bima. Take it away, Bima. We give you the horse lady.
Why do you not have people in your rooms? Why do you not have people in your rooms ever? You've been doing this for what, 5-6 years now? You never got an audience, still don't get an audience, but like a mentally ill person, you record a bunch of rooms, and you can say like, oh, well, I'm trying to monetize it, but your accounts keep on getting clipped, even on YouTube. And, I guess if you have nothing better to do than live off of disability, I guess it's better than nothing. Technically.
Matt, I want to know how are you able to elevate the Trump House to where it is now, man? Because I remember you used to be on Chatter, going back and forth from Chatter to Clubhouse. So how were you able to elevate the Trump House to where it's at right now?
Well,
on the backs of black people.
I don't want to give my secrets away.
Matt, did you have an itch? Did you have a drive? It's exciting.
Do I have a drive?
Yeah, like a drive to do it, like a will. Like, I like doing this. I'm going to do it. And I want to make 24 or 48 or 72-hour rooms.
Oh, no, not at all. Actually, these rooms just go by themselves. I could leave right now. It could probably go 24 hours, 72 hours, So it's not really just me. It's everybody here. That's the whole deal, right?
Well, I would put it like this. Like, why do the people who used to make rooms on here not really do it much anymore? It's like, kind of maybe like, I've never done cocaine, which you can call me a pussy, fair enough. But it's like, apparently you chase that first high, and it's really big. So I would get that high, for a while. And then it's just like, now you can open a room and you won't get nearly as many people. You can talk about the same controversial shit that you used to talk about, but that controversial shit you used to talk about is now mainstream, and you can go anywhere and that shit is being talked about.
Well, how about this? One thing is, like, what worked back then is, like, if you're a one-man show, like, Pepe, you were the show, right? So
yeah,
those rooms, like, that just works, right? Because, like, you do your act, everybody knew what they were getting. Obviously, I'm not that. I'm just here with a bunch of people. So, like, the app is just treating things differently. Like, if we got, like, the amount of influx of people that we had back then, you could totally throw up a one-man show and go back right to it. It's just that there's nobody here.
Oh, yeah, no, totally.
Because it was only big during COVID.
Yeah, and COVID is what spurred it along a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's working a room by yourself is entirely different.
Totally
and
is.
The dynamics of a group. So, like, what you say to a small group of people to a big group of people hits, I don't know how else to describe it. The reaction you'll get, so with a big group, you get a snowball where where it like incites a bunch of people. It's kind of like a mob reaction, and it you can like, so if you could both maybe like entertain but offend, or then humor the people that you're making a room about, or that were listening, that you could keep an audience. That's just one way of doing it.
I mean, so like obviously, like the answer to Timothy's question, if he really wants an answer, like again, as cheesy as it sounds, as long as you include everybody, it just goes. I mean that's just the secret of it.
Did I not teach you that though too?
No, I got you. Because check it out, because like that's why the one man show doesn't work right now, Pepe, is because obviously it's just you, right?
Oh no, totally, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Monica, because one of the reasons why I initially formed an alliance with Monica is because of the death threats that Monica was receiving by African Americans on this app. I have heard African Americans make more death threats, homicidal ideation, racist statements, bigoted statements than any other group of people, because this is a black app. And Monica was targeted for assassination by all these sick, deranged African Americans that use this app. And so I stood with Monica. But then eventually I realized Monica's a fucking retard and annoying in her own right. So you know what? Maybe she deserved all the hate. Maybe that fat fucking pig deserved every hate word she ever deserved. Because this is an app for fools. And if you listen to people talk long enough, you're going to be fooled. That's the power of the word.
Too much
Fuck the cracker.
Yeah.
Wait, we're already there, man.
Hold on, Edward's trying to get in. Go ahead, Edward. Come off mic. Yep.
Had a great question, and I think the fact that you are inclusive, you allow people to share their thoughts. You're neutral, which is number one. And I really appreciate your white supremacy. You and Joe and everybody else. I appreciate that part too. So
You're the best Uncle Tom I've ever met.
You see, one of the things I've learned, and you guys are extremely interesting because of the fact that, Pepe, do you know who Uncle Tom actually is?
I just know it's the white man that cooperates with black man that cooperates with the white man. I don't know the origin.
Well,
No.
Oh,
It's so interesting.
Uber.
But I want you to know, even on
Uber chat.
Chatter and other places on X,
Uber check.
I'm very comfortable with the fact that the value system that Matt, even Timothy and Joe and Beaver, what they bring is a solid foundation of what it is to know who they are. So when you come into this space, the host is doing what they're supposed to be doing by allowing them to procure the conversation. So any conversation that come in, like you want the truth? You want the truth? Well, the truth is everything is not motivated by race. That's number one. Guys, you had a room yesterday for almost 36 hours about can black people be racist? 67% of the people voted yes. But if you ask any black person, they can't be racist. But the truth is, people do act racist. And I happen to be one who says that no one, I got it, black girl. You and I are on the same page. I got it. We can keep saying all we want. At the end of the day, the only person you can ask Morgan Freeman is just say, if you stop talking about it and stop leaning into it, because the truth is, we are the only group of people that keep it going. Okay? If you don't want to keep going, do something different. So, Matt, my submission to you, Timothy, thank you for the question. The bottom line is, moderation is good. Yeah, I got it. Miss Coon. I love it. When people, hey, Timothy, do you see how I'm being called names? Uncle Tom, Coon.
I see it, man, but all I hear is the truth, man. All I hear is you just, saying what you're seeing, man.
Yeah, Timothy, this is the whole point. Timothy, I live in Orange County, California for 30 years. Never been called out of my name. But I come to Clubhouse and I just say something. Oh my God. You know what? It's really sad that Edward cannot have his own opinion and someone that looked like me cannot just say, that's his opinion. He has a right to his own opinion. That's the difference. And you know what? I celebrate everybody's opinion. If you believe you want reparations, work for it. If you believe that some guy sitting around thinking about you that's white and all they're doing thinking about you, go for it. But one thing Edward's not going to do, I'm not going to ask any white person to pay me something, and I'm not going to sit around thinking that some white person is systematically trying to stop me from getting anywhere. Because if they are, I'm going to walk away from their door and knock on another door. And that's the truth.
That's where I think the Stockholm syndrome comes in, though, Mr. Edward. Like, I love a lot of the stuff that you said, but there's a little bit of things that it's just I don't even think that it's like intentional. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of it is intentional. I think a lot of it's just been like hereditary and like handed down. And well, no,
it's just his opinion. Why are you going to beat him down about it?
I could
finish.
You're going to correct his opinion?
Oh my gosh.
Better finish.
Yeah, but are you going to correct his opinion?
I mean, like, how am I going to correct his opinion? I'm just giving my opinion.
She's responding.
Well, it's good because it was his point. That was his point. So let her go.
Yeah. So, well, what I'm saying is it's just like it's the psychological phenomenon. You know what I mean? It's the in-group, out-group, and we've talked about this. And so when you have like the whole thing, if we stop talking about it, it's you know, other countries, I don't know which, I don't off the top of my head, but there's a couple countries that decided to eliminate race, like in their governing documents and things. And I thought, at first I was just like, that's exactly what we have to do. That's exactly what we have to do. We have to stop talking about it. And I thought it was wrong. But then I thought, wait a second. How are we going to be able to identify the issues? There's like a catch-22, right? We want to get there. Ultimately, we want to get there. But I think it's not honest about where our history was, and we're just still so uneducated when we try to even discuss structural racism. People don't, and my last thing I'm going to say is, like, yesterday we were talking about, can black people be racist? And then I felt sort of, I talk a lot. And then I felt, oh, wow, maybe he didn't get anything from what I said. And then I said, if Mr. Edward didn't get anything from what I said, then maybe everybody else doesn't get anything from what I said. But I felt like we were impeccable with defining the types of racism, right? We went over and we gave an explanation between racial discrimination, racial prejudice. We defined different types of racism, and we were explicit in trying to explain what we meant by when black people can be racist, specifically in America. So anyway, I feel like our conversations sometimes are helpful, sometimes they're not. I wish that, I don't know, I'm distracted by Matt's PTR. Thanks, Matt.
Go ahead. I want to make my submission. But go ahead and respond to her correction of your opinion.
Yeah, well, first of all, Bima, again, I'm going to support whatever you decide, because as a independent American, you hold truth to be self-evident, right? Your truth is that Mr. Edward has Stockholm syndrome. This is what you said. Do you know where Stockholm syndrome even comes from?
I don't know where it comes from. I just know what it is.
Stockholm?
No, what is it? What is it?
You know what?
Serious? You use the phrase and you don't know what it means.
No, I don't remember. No, off the top of my head. I don't remember.
It's when they fall in love with their captors or, kidnappers, right?
No, I know what it is. I said I know what it is. He asked me, do I know the origin? Do I know where it comes from? No, I don't. Off the top of my head, I don't.
So I'm going to give you, Bima, my origin. Okay? My father and my grandfather were Lincoln Republicans.
Yes.
They believed in duty, honor, God, and family. That's what they did. Okay?
Wait, can you tell me where Stockholm syndrome comes from?
No. I want you to continue to use the sentiment
dump truck. It was
so that you can look it up yourself, because you're using the term like when people talk about Uncle Tom or Coon or all this other stuff they want to call somebody. Look it up on your own. You know why? Because if you use the term, you don't even understand why you're using the term. It's, to me, and I'm going to use the term.
I understand what it is. I don't know the origin of it.
Look up the origin, so then you understand Stockholm. Okay?
The bank robbery in Stockholm in 1970s.
Edward as a hostage.
Yeah, I think the hostages fell in love with
we're
their
holding
captain.
him as a hostage or a captain.
Yes. Yeah. So all I say is this: you guys can tell me I'm 62. I don't understand history. There's systematic racism, and there's all this stuff going on. When if I look at the numbers, Bima, just when I hear you talk sometimes, I look at the numbers.
Always.
Okay, and I know, Bima, you haven't thought about this. I know that for a fact. Because Bima.
Well, that's
delusional.
But keep going.
No.
Wait, you want to tell me what I thought, and you want to say that's a fact? Come on, say you know that's not reasonable to say.
Bima, I'm gonna ask you a question, Bima. How many free blacks were in America in the 13 colonies? They were never a slave. What's the number?
I don't know, but we went over numbers. I don't know about 13 colonies. I know maybe about the 1800s, but no, I don't know the 13 colonies.
Okay, I'm asking you a simple question because there were blacks that came to America that was never a slave. Never. And you know what? They own property. Do you know that one of the first millionaires was a black woman in the 1800s in the 13 colonies? Did you know that?
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just trying to find out, how do you get race out of that? Where's racism in that? Because she's still white.
The racism came. The racism wasn't. It's okay. So, as the government became the government and the country decided to develop, right? It's not. You can't deny that. We went over this one day, and in the 1860s, we were talking about the percentage of white people in America, according to like the census, right? Of how many white people in America own slaves. But then it was the fact that almost 98% of black Americans that were inside of the country were enslaved. So it doesn't even matter. It matters then with all of the legislation that preceded that, like the pain and the frustration of, all of the shit that we're dealing with today. After slavery ended, it just didn't end, right? It got worse. With segregation, Jim Crow, all of these other things.
So let me hold on. Hey, go ahead, but I'm gonna go to Joe. Joe, I'm sorry, because Joe, sometimes, Mr. Edward has to have actual deep conversation, because I think sometimes we miss it. So go ahead, Joe. Make a submission, and I'm going on mute.
It's fine. She doesn't even realize that when she uses the phrasing Stockholm syndrome, that somehow we are holding you hostage, and you're sympathetic to, or is it Republicans or white people, Bima? Hash this out. Make this clear for the audience. Are we holding Edward hostage, and he's sympathetic to white people?
I think it's the system. So he's looking at the system like it's this friendly thing, when he doesn't realize that the system isn't your friend. The system is an oppressor. The system is still an oppressor. The system is an oppressor to everybody in the country right now, right? But most people won't even admit that. Most white people won't even admit that. And to understand the difference in how Black Americans were much more strongly oppressed, right? It's just Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Okay. So it's fair to say, the clarification that white, in your phrasing, is not that white people are holding Edward hostage and that he's sympathetic to white people, right? It's that.
Well, that's not my phrasing. I never said that.
Well, that's what it sounds like to people when you say, when we're talking race topics, and then racial epithets are being lodged at Edward, then you use that terminology. That's what it makes it sound like. So to clarify, you're saying because of his support of the Constitution and the United States of America and its founding, that the system is holding him hostage, right? We need clarification on this.
Yeah, no, I'm saying because of his denial of what the system is and what it's created, and just turning his head away to say, there's no problems. There's no problems. Everything is okay. Everything is kosher. The system isn't holding me back. I think that is the definition of Stockholm syndrome. You've become so sympathetic with because you don't even know what freedom is. If there are a group of white Americans that are slowly becoming conscious.
Are you?
Okay,
Are
Joe,
you?
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, but I know you just run on for so long. It just.
I was trying to make a point, but go ahead and interrupt me. I understand you have to do that.
Are other patriotic people also suffering from Stockholm?
I think there are a lot of people that are suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people are, to be honest with you, I think they're indoctrinated. They've been bred, indoctrinated, taught, trained, trained and exercised. Absolutely. I think there's a large
how about people that raise their hand so how about people that raise their hand to support and defend the Constitution? Are they also?
Well, I think the Constitution is a good document. I think that if they believed in the Constitution, that's a good document. But I think the problem is that they don't believe in the Constitution. They think that they believe in the Constitution, but then they turn around and they advocate for things that are definitely unconstitutional. They support they support massive legislation and red tape and government involvement where they shouldn't if they believe in the Constitution. That's my.
I'm being very specific here. So like politicians, judges, okay, and then military people in the military all swear an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution. Are they all suffering from Stockholm syndrome?
I'm not going to use an all, right? I'm not going to speak on a universal, but I'm going to say that today, I'm saying that today, yeah, I think many people, and I know that it's going to get controversial. And so I support our military as individuals, as people who grow up and they're passionate about a group and they're tribal with the group and know that they can join something that's going to protect that group and secure what they believe is right. I'm very passionate towards that, and I'm sympathetic and I'm empathetic towards that. And I have a very great passion for people who have been in the military, but I've also learned through that, I have a great frustration with the government for the things that the ruling elite allowed to happen to our American public, our American people, under guises of, and things that are corruption and intervention where they didn't need to be, and the ruling elite just using our American men as pawns and then them coming home. I think that that's really sad. And I get very frustrated. I've become very bitter towards the government and what they've done to our American men, and then by default, our American women who are the mothers and the sisters and the daughters of the people that we've lost. And I think there could have been a lot of better decisions made by our government if so many people weren't bootlicking, statist, indoctrinated, Stockholm syndrome-esque people. I think we've gotten just too far. We believed in the government too much. Public education indoctrinated just too much, and then we stopped asking questions, and now we're where we are. So yes.
Thanks for the clarification. So my submission to why the President Trump room is successful. I've been around modding with Matt since version 1 of the house, and I think this is version 2. And Matt, can I reveal the secret of what really makes it? I mean, Beaver, Matt, and myself are really chat warriors, and we love to chat. And we get up here and we moderate, and we spend most of our time down there in the chat and let people share their opinions. And sometimes we laugh at them silently from the chat room.
But you guys do let everybody speak, including the people that are could be considered the most offensive, and especially in comparison, at least you're going to allow people that will say the most offensive shit to those of us that are on the right or who support Donald Trump. And it just, that right there a lot of stages where they fail is it's an echo chamber where they end up basically just shutting out anybody who disagrees. Whereas if you really want to get the content, you have to let the people that have absolutely opposing views, ones that you find are absolutely offensive, and you have to let them speak. That's how you have to do it.
Pepe, I can't have worded it any better. That is literally it right there. You nailed it. And by the way, the mods should reflect that too. I think we have a pretty diverse group of mods too. Everything from pretty conservative lookings all the way to, as some would say, almost libtards. So.
Yeah, but that's philosophy. It's the unity of opposites is what brings the delight, the content. But the truth is, this is all going down a black hole and into the toilet. None of this is recorded. You guys have created no content, no exterior platforms or parallel societies. You've achieved no political goals. You've run for no offices. You've just created a lot of talk. That's just foolishness, and all your talk is foolishness, and you're fooling a lot of people with your wasting of time. Try reading a fucking book, PP. Try going to the fucking gym instead of coming here and saying the same shit and reminiscing about glory days on a glory hole app. A fucking glory hole app. It's just a glory hole app. That's it. And you can't keep reminiscing about it ad infinitum as if you've accomplished anything. You're just sitting here stroking your ding-a-ling again, picking your toes in Poughkeepsie. I'm the real Peepee. Look at my PTR. I'm the real Pepe.
And Matt, and Himothy, and Joe, Beaver, I just appreciate that I'm one of the most offensive people on the app. So that's why you let me speak, because me making a personal choice and having values is deciding. I get pushback for just being a normal American, which is kind of funny. Like, I cannot believe that our country's okay. Yes, we have problems. In America, we've had racism horrible. But I'm not going to beat up the country that gave us freedom. And actually, listen, I'm gonna give you the word, guys. We abolished slavery in America. That's a good thing. 640,000 people died on our land so that we could have the conversation we're having today on Clubhouse. So yes, there's a lot of problems, and yes, there's a lot of things going wrong, but that's from the individual. Let's make sure we all understand. We still live in the freest country in the world, and you can't do what we're doing right now in a whole lot of countries. I've been in 54 of them. I promise you, we can't do what we're doing right now in a lot of them. I'm grateful for America.
Yeah, you kindly offended me, Edward.
Well said, Ed.
Do you think that, Edward, we're, it's my personal opinion, I think we're in a position where we'll sit pretty for a while, the United States, but I do think we're a dying empire. It's my personal opinion. What do you think?
Traitor!
No,
I think we're a dying empire. I think, Pepe, that we've gotten from personal responsibility. All the excuses that we have is someone wants to say that it's someone else's fault of why I'm in the state I am. There's no personal responsibility. I thought that our document says we hold these truths to be self-evident. What I've learned is that a lot of Americans that I talk to have zero self-evident truths.
But I think that the problem is, though, is that there's two things. There's the level of resources that we have and the people and the standard of living we have. And obviously it's going to be
What is this, Gibbons, Pepe, the fall of the American Empire? I mean, this is so stupid. We've had our greatest years. America's the best. Hello?
Yeah, what it does, yeah. But it's okay. Go ahead, Pepe.
So I would say there's obviously you're gonna there's a large swath of the world. Everybody will agree that.
Why did you interrupt Mr. Edward?
I didn't.
You did. But it's okay. Go ahead.
Wait, I did?
Yeah, it's okay, Pepe.
It's all right, Pepe. You weren't the only one.
Do you want Edward to finish?
He can finish, and I'll ask my question afterwards.
No. All I was saying, Pepe, was that the falling empire is that we've gotten away, and I call it grievances.
Oh my God.
America
Fucking
now
to take
has
you
a
back
bunch
to
of
my place.
okay? It is sad. You know why it's sad, Pepe?
Oh baby.
Because the
Well,
nuclear
baby,
family
that's
has
a
been
waste.
attacked. We don't know how to define
That's
what
a
a woman
waste
is or a
of
man
time
is.
and money.
We have people in black robes that's deciding to let people out of prison, even though we know they committed 100 crimes.
That's a
And you know
waste
what?
of
The
time
sad
and
part about it
money.
is, we're not holding the American individual accountable for their behavior. And you know what? It's not all generated by race. Sometimes it's just generated by the fact that people are lazy and they don't want to do what they need to do. Okay? Bottom line, Pepe, the only reason why this country will fall is because the people will fall from within. You can look at every living civilization. It's the people. And I thought, this is what I thought, that we the people are supposed to be the strongest part of America. But you and I both know that's not it. Most people today have excuses on why we're where we are. And that's why I say to Miss Bima, everything is not motivated by race. Some things are motivated by the individual.
Yeah,
Well,
I understand. I appreciate it. Pepe, I'll go after you. Go ahead.
So
And then
I would
JJ,
say that I don't think it's primarily motivated by race either. I think what you're seeing is I do think, unfortunately, when you get people who have a certain standard of living, this is something that's replicated, whether it's with in South America, Central America, the Latin countries, East Asia, Europe. Once you get a certain standard of living, there does seem you do seem to kind of get like a level of decadence and it's pacifying. I'll just put it like that. And you do get people that will find anything and everything to fight about.
That's a waste of time and money.
When it comes to if we were to look at Democrats and Republicans, now if we were to even talk about race or ethnicity or immigration, what we would have to talk about are largely the people in power, which are largely white. Why are certain individuals wanting to bring a lot of these people in? Part of it is greed. Part of it is because they want to they want to be able to gain power or maintain power, so they want mass immigration. Basically, and of course they're going to use the racial arguments in order to make their positions, I guess, seem reasonable for people to accept them. I think like if the one thing when it comes to humans, if we just look at the European people, this was a country created by Europeans. In the beginning, every European empire failed. We surpassed them as the most powerful. We're not technically an empire, but we, for lack of a better term, we're an empire that is absolutely more powerful than any empire that's ever existed. This cycle has continued throughout history. I cannot conceive of a way in which this would not end any different.
It'll end up on Clubhouse, you know that? Like as it's happening, Pepe will be like reporting live on Club saying, I told you all on August 7th, I told you.
This would obviously this could take centuries.
Pepe the Prophet. Nostradamus of Clubhouse. Dr. BB.
You shut up.
Sure.
But if you were to
Decadence
look at
is
any
real.
of the great dynasties, for
I'll
example,
get you in, Jason, in a second. Finish up, Pepe, yeah.
if you're to look at any of the great dynasties of China, the Persian Empire, the Roman Empire, we can go on and on and on. Okay, they what are they now? They're nothing. And I get it geographically how powerful we are. I don't think this shit will be done overnight, but I don't necessarily see us being necessarily the global superpower forever. And I do see our country, like everywhere else, eventually being
Pepe.
reduced to history.
Pepe, it was a good question. It's actually a really good question. And eventually I do want to make a room on that. That's actually a really good one. Now I've got what I was going to ask. Damn it all. There was something good on that one. Now I can't even remember what it was. Jason. Jason, you came off mic. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I mean, decadence is, universal, but how it plays out is really different in different places. I mean, the Roman Empire took hundreds of years to fall, and when it fell, people as it fell, people put more effort into more local communities, and that's how you got feudalism. Okay, feudalism was a retreat from the city center to villas and a decentralization of power. And like most basic way you deal with breakdown of the empire is the non-central places take on more self-governance. And they continue. Okay, and they continue very much in the way of life that they had before the breakdown started. And that the breakdown can be usual as it was for the Romans. And the Roman law was the law of most of Europe for a time after the Roman Empire broke down. So, yeah, I mean, the center maybe is not going to hold, but it maybe actually doesn't that much, you know. The way that might play out in the United States is states become stronger and the federal government become weaker. And, maybe in a few hundred years we'll be ready again to do something, or maybe, why did we even get a strong central government? It was because of a crisis, and maybe we don't need it anymore.
Well, Jason,
and then there will be another crisis.
Jason, I was going to ask you, do you ever see like a decentralized kind of version of America in a way, or no? Like where we don't. Yeah.
America was more decentralized in the 30s.
That's true.
America was more, and it was even more decentralized than that in the 1910s. It's World War I and World War II drove a massive amount of centralization, and we could certainly decentralize. We don't necessarily need the federal government managing directly all the interstate highways or stuff like that. Maybe the states set up an independent commission for that. That could happen.
Right.
So
I just remembered another question I had, and it's basically, is there anybody here that would not want to live in America and want to live somewhere else, not live in America? I know it's kind of like just a general question, kind of random, but is there anybody just like would not want to live in America and live in a different country?
The question is, why would you want to live in America over countries? European Union, for example, has free healthcare, housing, food, better quality. You got better education, less gun violence. People are not radicalized, polarized, or as extremist. You just have much better discourse. Like, why would you want to
say? They literally have the extremes we have, but they have a parliamentary system in which it's kind of, you have to have a coalition government, but if we look at it, for example, you have the amount of Muslims you fucking cucks ended up introducing into your country, or countries in Europe. You guys are literally inviting probably the most extremist element in the whole fucking world. And what transcends race is going to be.
Pete, shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. Shut your fucking mouth. Muslim. Just shut up for a second. You're an idiot. Shut up.
No, you're a fucking idiot.
Well,
why do you like to suck Muslim cock?
Jake didn't have a chance. Jake didn't have a chance to finish his point.
Let me. You asked the question whether the United States was fucked. Yeah, it's fucked. Look at Pete. The reason why this country is going is because idiots like Pete sit here, run their fucking mouth, and people sit here and listen to him. If he did that on the street, he'd get smacked. You know that, right? So
in other words, because I get smacked in a public street, I should just bow to the goddamn Muslims and then get fucking.
You should get mental health treatment. Talk to a psychologist. Talk to your mother.
You're a stupid motherfucker.
Okay.
Point of order, moderators. Point of order. I want to elucidate more on what Jason was talking about, because here in Chicago, I have paper currency from the 1800s issued by the Republic of Chicago and by an independent bank. We had decentralization of currency in this country. We had hundreds of banks. I have an old banker's book with hundreds and thousands of banks nationally. Our greatest economic growth was the 1800s. And then in 1900, an explosion. Ellis Island, the country flooded with Europeans. And in 1913, with the Federal Reserve Act, we lost our liberty. We gave up our virtue, our independence, and allowed a monopolistic organization to take control of the U.S. currency system. And as a communist fascist and a patriotic American who's willing to listen to faggot retards like Pepe and other faggot retards on this app for years, I'm here to tell you that if these faggot retards never read a book or go to the gym, they are wasting their time in a black hole clown house world called Dinner for Schmucks. This app is for retard faggots. It's stupid. No one of great wealth or notoriety or intellectual significance comes here to give a lecture or a course. Instead, you listen to faggot retards like Pepe, a tanned Corsican with fucking podcast mic headphones. That's it. He's the modern professor of retardation. It's, listen at your own peril, ladies and gentlemen. I've landed my plane and I am complete.
And a lot of what Europeans believe about what's bad in the United States, it turns out, maybe isn't so bad. Europeans who visited the U.S. during the World Cup came away with the sense that the U.S. is actually a much nicer place than their news media portrays us. But it's definitely true that Europe is significantly poorer than the United States. And there is a reckoning that has to happen there about economic growth. And that economic growth, that lack of economic growth, is due entirely to seemingly these positives that Jake is talking about. And I think the other thing to think about is Europe does not really have freedom of speech in any sense that any American would recognize it. Okay? Europe is a place where your kid posts on social media and the cops come to visit you. Okay? Because your kid posted the flag of your country or something like that. Something nationalist and racist, like the flag of your country. All right? And that's true in many countries in Europe, not just England. It's very sad, though, to see that happen in England, which was really the cradle of American liberty. So much of what we take for granted now as our rights are ancient English rights, okay, which they gave up. All right, in the 1900s, okay, they gave them up very recently. So, yeah, Europe is really nice. They have some nice trains, although Deutsche Bahn is not so good anymore. They have, I think a cappuccino is much better in Germany than America. But, rights are important too. Economic growth is important too.
Yeah, but the leftists and the Muslims are offended by you waving
be quiet for a second.
Your English flag. The reason why they're offended by it is because they do not like these fucking people. They moved to their goddamn country and they want them fucking destroyed. They literally want to recreate the goddamn definition.
I would like to hear Jake's response at some point.
Well, hold on. No, I'm going to say this. I'll land in 10 seconds. The reason they don't like the English flag, is because they want to see the definition of the English to be fucking erased. They want to see a bunch of brown goddamn Muslims be the new face of fucking England. They are literally trying to conquer it. It is bullshit.
All right. What were we talking about? Europe's GDP?
So
money.
Jake,
what are we talking about? Healthcare,
Jake,
money,
what I
economy.
said, Europe has had much weaker GDP growth. It has much lower GDP per capita than the United States, and that has gotten worse and worse in the last 20 years. Europe has very weak freedom of speech, and that has also gotten worse. And these things are recent, okay? It's not like Europe has always been that way, and Europe is facing a reckoning there because they have the combination of very high taxation, very high social and service costs, low GDP growth, low individual capacity for spending, and these costs, these social services, they're only going to go up in cost. They're not going to go down. So,
okay, all right.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. They recently have been getting their ass kicked since the British left.
Okay.
Great, Jake. By the way, turn in your pink ticket, Jake. JJ, are you there or no?
Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah, I kind of wanted, I mean, I think I kind of, got into a different lane, but I think that's been fleshed out at this point. I wanted to respond to what Edward said.
No, I don't.
Because it gets real, it's really funny to me when like Black conservatives do this thing where they pretend that history doesn't exist, that systemic racism doesn't exist, that a lot of the problems, the very real, very tangible problems that particularly Black people face in this country, and by proxy, like the left, because it's like the left has been demonized simply because they actually have souls and hearts and empathy, like things that, I don't know, maybe Christians or people who claim to be Christian actually should care about, but actually don't, because they're, a lot of the evangelicals and the people on the right are far right, as I would call it, as this modern right is for the most part is actually the true extremists that really don't give a fuck about Christianity or anything, but really just want to see people be white and represent their culture or whatever they perceive to be their culture. Like they're mad at people actually accepting people who are who are outside of what the cookie cutter image of what this Americana kind of ideal is, which is really what's being fought for. It's like that, even what Pepe was speaking to was like the image, of, what is, he was talking about Britain, but the same kind of arguments have been being talked about here, like what is an American, all this stuff with immigration. It's like, oh, they just want power. It's like, no, we actually care because America is, and the world right now is very complex. America has its hand in, I don't really care if people don't like what I'm saying because it's actually sparking a nerve because it's true. America has its hand all over the world and we're destabilizing other countries. So yeah, like it makes sense for people to come here. And it seems like they're only welcome, I guess, by Trump and his minions if they're white South Africans. But meanwhile, anybody who's brown or Black is vilified and is likened to rapists, murderers, criminals, and dog and cat eaters. Like, it's really, really weird. But the last thing I'll say is, not surprising because it's, that's what Trump does. Anything to avoid personal responsibility, which is the last thing I'll say about what Eric's talking about. I think it's absolutely disgusting. We sit here and act like people don't want to work, that people are lazy. That is, we don't have social problems because people are lazy. We have social problems because our institutions are fucked up. And they've been fucked up for a long time.
No, but you don't think that people in like Western countries, like first world countries, do become decadent? Like they become lazy and docile in comparison to less industrialized countries.
See, JJ, it's just your opinion, sir. Well, you're not really giving a response to what JJ even said.
No, I'm asking him. He said Americans are getting lazy.
No, he says we have a culture issue. It's his opinion we have a culture issue. We have an economic issue, not a culture issue. This is communist fascist. I am complete.
Hey, get that dick out of your ear.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that Americans, like, you can see East Asians, you can see Europeans, pretty much any country that becomes highly industrialized, I do see where they do become decadent. And this is like, I really hate to admit this, but like when it comes to like some of the founders of the neocon movement, like Billy Crystal, where they warned of like, the decadence.
Billy Crystal, he's a Jewish comedian from the movie City Slickers. What are you talking about, Dr. Pee-Pee?
God damn, you're so retarded. But
projection alert detection system has been activated. Put the mirror in front of the retarded comment. Here we go.
Faggot, like, this is so annoying. But so literally, what I was trying to say is that you do see this, and it transcends race, religion, and ethnicity, and it is like the more industrialized we become, the more docile and decadent we become, and that's absolutely a real thing. And so I don't. It seems to be a part of the human condition. So like I don't know how do you overcome that? And even if we look at, so you were saying like, oh, Americans aren't willing to work these jobs. Yeah, I will say this outright. In Phoenix, native-born Americans, whether they're Black, white, Hispanic, or Native American, there are jobs that are delegated to basically only being done by the illegal immigrants. Really, and that is a level of selfishness, and basically I think we're bringing it. I'll just lay it out here. I think that like our decadence is likely going to bring upon the collapse of our own country.
Pepe, I think that you're conflating a couple of things and ignoring some like very core tenets of a lot of the problems that we have in this country, and I think that whenever, this idea that I hear a lot from conservatives and, people on the right who are always wrong, is that this idea that Americans are lazy. Like, it's just not true. Of course, like, you don't want to know who's lazy? A lot of these fucking billionaires who don't want to pay their taxes.
No. My point is that in comparison to our fathers and grandfathers, especially our grandfathers, I'll say our grandfathers and our great grandfathers, we are much lazier. We did not live the hard life they lived, and that's an absolute fact. They lived a hard life.
Yeah, but I wouldn't equate that to laziness. I would equate that to...
No, I absolutely would, though, because they couldn't be lazy out of survival.
Yeah, no. But I hear what you're saying.
Life. They lived a lazier life than those who came before them, and so on and so forth. Because you have greater labor productivity through technology, life gets better. So no, you don't go work in the field for 50 hours a week in the hot sun. Nobody does that anymore. And you don't go and wander around in the woods for 3 weeks to shoot an animal to make a pair of shoes. You don't need to do it anymore. So you don't do it.
Yeah, and you don't clean toilets in your business because you have a bunch of spics do it for an illegal wage.
That's weird that you say that, Pepe. When literally people think that you're Hispanic, but I don't know. But people are not lazy. It's in general, when you look at people, the majority of people, all they want is to work, get a fair and livable wage, and go on about their business. People are not trying to come here just to sit down and not do anything. They could do.
But JJ, the country's $200 trillion in debt. Are you willing to submit to austerity? Are you going to help pay down the federal debt if we cut spending? What are you willing to accept for cuts? Are you willing to live without Medicaid, without Medicare, or to cut it 50% to save the republic? What sacrifices as a patriot are you willing to make other than being an NFR?
This is what are you making? And are you willing to cut off your motherfucking mic and let other people finish? Shut the fuck up!
Amen.
Yeah, look, you can't... I think we are going to have to, unfortunately, undergo austerity. We are going to end up using more of our own labor. This is an important founding principle of Orania, by the way. Use own labor. Very worthwhile to look into Orania if you're a white supremacist.
In South Africa?
I won't go into it any further.
Yeah, but I obviously as the white nationalist for years, so I know Irania.
I was trying to say something. Okay, so it's Irania is very much worth looking into, but we have to undergo some kind of austerity, and something like austerity anyway.
Your call.
It's something very positive about trade with other countries. It does raise their living standards to be able to access a big market like the United States. As hard as the jobs at the iPhone factory in China sound, what were those people doing before? Okay, they were subsistence farmers. That's a very, very hard life. And Reza asks, would it be beneficial to the citizens, Chinese cars? Yes, it would be individually, but it would cut into American manufacturing even more, the manufacturing we need to build the light trucks and tanks and so on to fight and destroy China. And that's the whole problem, and that's why we need more manufacturing here. But JJ, you have an objection.
But you're trying to make this a morality issue?
No, I'm not. I'm not making a morality issue. You are. Okay,
no, you
but
are.
let's
You're
let JJ.
we help them,
let's
but
let
at the end of the
JJ.
day,
Let's
we are
let
using
JJ
it for cheap labor.
respond. Let's let JJ respond.
It's not your room, faggot. Shut the fuck up.
Thanks. Yeah, no. It's not that. I think that there are a lot of things that we need to implement, but I also think this is why we need competent leadership, because there's a lot of money that is absolutely being wasted. I mean, look at this administration, and they have this whole.
JJ is CRT, BLM, LGBTQ, DEI. Is that not wasteful spending? Because it's not pragmatic, and we need to have priorities. Hello, Jason. You are not a mod. You're not a mod, Jason. Go back to IDF training school, and one day you can be a big boy.
Shut up.
You're not a mod either. Shut up.
Okay. You guys agree with me, people on fuck Israel?
I'm not policing the room, motherfucker. That's the difference.
You literally are. Yeah, you literally are.
No, I'm just telling you to shut the fuck up after you police the room.
You tell everyone to shut the fuck up.
Come on, guys. Come on.
JJ, please go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just saying. I mean, when we're asking about money and fiscal responsibility and all these kinds of, and your ideas in terms of moving manufacturing, I think all of this is important. But I also feel like we need competent leadership. We can't have people running half-cocked wars of choice haphazardly and spending millions and millions of dollars wastefully. Like this is the process why elections have consequences, and it's important to have for people to stop being so cult-like in their following and actually elect, because I don't really care. I mean, obviously, like, I'm a staunch Democrat, but I mean, I don't care if we have a Republican in, as long as like they're fucking sane. Like the shit that we're dealing with Trump is like, it's like fucking Stranger Things. It's the upside down. Like he's getting mad at Janine Pirro because she's actually slipping up and telling the truth. I mean, we can't run a country like this, you know. So I think that we need to start, if we want to shift a lot of these things, we need to start from a place of confident leadership. And that's why, you know, like Trump and the likes of him and anybody who thinks like this, that's just about winning, and we could just lie and gaslight the American people, we need to get them all out of, we need to actually drain the swamp, not just the bullshit that Trump's.
Well, he is a malignant narcissist, in my opinion. And yeah, he's absolutely too toxic to be a president. I'll say this. If we were to look at our founding fathers, I think if they were to meet him, they would say, what a repugnant, smug, tacky piece of shit you are. You became president? How fucking dare you? They would literally laugh in his fucking face. He would never become president. And unfortunately, I had to vote for him 3 times because on the Democrat side, same goddamn thing. They would have thought you guys were low life.
Yeah, make sure it's a new poll at the top, man. Make sure y'all cast y'all vote, man. Trying to see something.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, most voters, like myself, we have to pick who's basically going to be.
We need Mamdani to be president. I'll be honest with you.
Wait,
yeah,
so
we pick the lesser of 2 evils.
So Pepe, what do you think, Pepe? What do you would have been the harm from Kamala Harris becoming president?
Sure.
Because we do have a binary choice in presidential elections. Is either Trump or Kamala. What do you actually think, considering where we are now?
Fucking Trump. I'm not about Trump. Probably Kamala or some Arabic guy to be president.
Sure, shut the fuck up. Let him
shut the fuck up for a second. You fucking
shut the fuck up, you fucking You asked me to
shut the fuck up.
Piece of shit.
Shut up, bitch.
Nobody cares about your
shut up.
What the fuck you think?
Okay,
you fucking
okay.
sound gay, motherfucker.
You're not even a goddamn American, you piece of shit. Shut the fuck up. It's not my problem that our military killed your goddamn dad. Suck the fucking dick.
He left.
Oh my god. But yeah, but Pepe, what do you think? Because I think, you know, that this is important when you have a presidential, you know, it's Democrats and Republicans. So
you call my dad, you motherfucker. You call it, okay, you kill my dad.
Okay, look, you gotta do something about these people. Set expectations.
Jason, shut your bitch up, nigga.
You gotta control people.
Stop
you gotta
bitching,
control
nigga.
people who are bad. You're just controlling me who's good.
The mind's got this, nigga. Stop bitching, nigga.
You don't got it. Jason, your wife.
Okay, you're acting like a Jew and you're whining too much. So just stop it, Jason.
Yeah, but what do you think would have been the harm? Because you said that, you know, it would have been the same thing, you know, or actually worse, because you said you voted for Trump 3 times. So
yep.
because of the harm from the Democrats, what do you think is this harm? What would have been worse?
Oh, sure. So, okay, so we see Biden, he let all of these people into this country. Was it at least 11 million? He was going to do that. It was not for the humanitarian reasons, which he would state. It was because they realized like our congressional districts could be split up. They could add more Congress members based on the population. And overall, of course, because we have birthright citizenship, you had primarily young people that were coming across the border. You're going to get natural-born citizens, and that was going to keep the Democrat Party in power.
Yes, friend.
But what is the issue with that? Is what I'm saying, Pepe.
Sure, because what they're interested in power.
So is the Republican.
They will take our gun. Yeah, sure. So they'll take our guns, our freedom of speech, all kinds of shit. They want to remain in power. Now, why do I have a problem with it? It's because it's basically their way of weaponizing immigration so that no longer can American people have sovereignty. They're going to usher in a bunch of goddamn foreigners in order to take power. Why would you want a bunch of, like, I don't know, imagine we live in Nazi Germany, but then the Democrats, said at the time, we need to let these people in. We need to let all of the Nazis in. We need to be, and yes, they're going to be able to vote. Their kids can vote. And then we were going to immediately, or in the long term, or I wouldn't say short term, but a little after that, you were going to have basically Nazis remaining in power. You would be against that. You would say that's weaponized immigration. And that is exactly what I saw, Joe Biden doing.
But see, this argument is flawed and it's porous, because you said that you voted, because I'm trying to ask about the harm in Democrats, and you can't just pinpoint that to just Joe Biden's presidency, because you said you voted for Trump 3 times. That means you voted for him in 2016, before Biden was even president, and you still felt the need to vote for him over the Democrat who at the time was Hillary Clinton. And and again, so and especially after coming off of Obama's presidency, where he literally was known as the deporter in chief. So I'm just wondering, like, we're here now, right? Because if you're saying that, oh well, they want to bring all these people in and they just want power, you have to actually juxtapose that with what's actually happening now under Trump.
Sure. So we can look under Obama. We go into peak wokeness near the end of his election. If we were to look at the elections or the primaries for the Democrats in like 2019, 2020, what they were being asked a bunch of questions, and of course, in lockstep and very predictably, they're like, should we provide health care to illegals, or full health care to illegals? I think that was their question. And it was yes, it was all of this shit. They were obviously pro-immigration. They were anti the Second Amendment. They were anti the First Amendment. Now, here's where I'm weird. I will push back against conservatives when it comes to people who want to say hateful shit. Like, for example, we can look at, like, after October 7th, there have been Jews trying to get, like, a lot of speech, trying to change the definition of what it is to be anti-Semitic, where basically anything can be anti-Semitic. They, like with me, it's just like, no. This is America. I understand you can talk about how it is beautiful. You guys were the original bigotry was apparently with your people, which is bullshit, because bigotries existed long before that. No, not for it. No, you can absolutely, you should be able to be, if you want to do BDS movements, if you want to protest Israel, just like you're allowed to protest America, you can protest America. Now, there's a little caveat there. There are people that I think absolutely want to bring upon the destruction of the United States. They hate us. They're revolutionaries. They openly state how they want our blood to run down the streets.
3,000 trips,
I'm being very
FYI.
dirty, at least tactically, in dealing with these people. But for the most part, I'm not. I don't remember what the original fucking question was, but
no, I'm just trying to bring a little light to this issue, because it's very, because I gotta be honest, what it sounds like to me is that you're like, well, I voted for Republicans, I voted for Trump 3 times, knowing who he was, because Trump is over.
But JJ, when Pepe says that Trump is a malignant narcissist, that's Pepe's projection onto Trump. Trump is the answer that we've been looking for and waiting for, and he's delivering America day by day. And all the complainers on this app they're nothing burgers. They're wastes of time. You think Patty and First Lady and politically correct they actually promote Trump more than they should on Trump, which is the ironic part. Because I hear them play Trump clips that because I don't watch TV. So these bitches clip Trump for us, and they're promoting him. They got no idea how fucking retarded they are. Hello?
Answer the question regarding why would I vote for Trump over Hillary? We see the largest border disaster, and we see this dip. I won't call her a dipshit. She's more intelligent than average. She had to be. She passed the California bar exam, and she's a prosecutor.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is not stupid by any means.
yeah, absolutely. So, but is she at the level where she should be leading our country? In my opinion, absolutely not.
Yeah, but see,
I don't think Trump is either. By the way, that's rude.
Yeah, and that's the
issue. I would say that which one do I think would cause the most damage? Absolutely her. So
Okay,
I'm not a Trump. I'm not a MAGA person. I'm not a Trump person. So like I'm not going to.
What kind of person do you like? Who would you vote? Who do you want as president? Who would you pick if you could pick it?
I mean, I think that like in the 1990s it would have been pretty cool if like Pat Buchanan became president.
No, I'm saying now. Do you even vote?
Yeah, I absolutely vote. Like, what are you talking about?
He sounds retarded. He voted for Trump.
So I voted for Trump. I literally said I voted for Trump 3 times. So yeah.
You also said you're a 1990s Democrat. A 1990s Democrat. It has become the Pepe show again. Moderators, can we hear a new speaker? My YouTube audience is requesting a new speaker like Alan. Welcome everybody to the President Trump house. You want to hear the truth? Come on in. Get ready to hear the truth in the President Trump room, starring Alan. Take it away, Alan.
To be fair, people keep asking Pepe questions. So they keep giving him the mic. I don't know what to say. Y'all can ask me a question, or Timothy, or Matt, or Beaver. You can ask any of us a question.
Let me pose that. I want to ask this question actually to the white people in this room, because I think this is very, very important.
Oh my God!
Would you vote for a black president?
Yes.
A black.
Yes.
Hold on.
You know who the patron saint of the United States is? It's a black man. It is Saint Clarence Thomas. Yeah, no. He's been a goddamn godsend to the United States.
Oh my God, this is
You're
great.
trying to make it solely on race, but if I'm gonna look at you and literally advance my values more than anybody else, it is Justice Clarence Thomas.
Let's answer the question.
No, and not just a token liberal. I'm a token conservative, like non-black white man.
If Clarence Thomas ran for president, I would vote for him.
No.
I would vote for Clarence Thomas over J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. J.D. Vance, a pasty white motherfucker, and Marco Rubio, not as pasty but white.
What about
I would vote for him.
I'm not just him. I want to see. Would you vote for a black female president?
Okay, Condoleezza Rice. Okay, sure. Condoleezza Rice.
Vote for a bitch in general.
I would vote for Condoleezza Rice over fucking any goddamn white cuck or black bitch in the Democrat Party. Like, absolutely.
Because I feel like it's important. Because I think that the reason why I ask these questions is it seems like it's not really about policies. It's not really about what's going to be best for the country. It's about, ironically, what they always say with the liberals. It's about like, what is it? That word that escapes me.
JJ, and the left's ideas are awful. That's ultimately what it comes
No.
down to.
I'm talking about even from your own side. Would you vote for
I'm telling you.
Yes, we would. It's all about the policy. I don't give a fuck if she's black, white, green, retarded. Well, I wouldn't vote for a retard.
Beaver,
But that is literally the example I gave you. I told you Clarence Thomas. I gave you Condoleezza Rice. I can look at both the white.
Condoleezza, Pepe.
Yeah, Condoleezza Rice. We can look at the white men that have been in charge in the Republican Party. I think that Condoleezza Rice is much smarter than J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. I'm just saying that I personally think that's a factual truth. I think that both of them have the best interest of our country in mind more than either of the two. Now, luckily, Clarence Thomas is a Supreme Court justice where he's perhaps the most beneficial.
What's a $2,000
once again, yes, I will vote for. You're asking me a question where it's begging for an answer.
Pepe,
if we think it's in our best interest, will we vote for this?
He never answered.
I gave you examples. I gave you examples of two people who will vote for us, who I would vote for, who I think absolutely have our best interests at heart.
Let me interject here. Hold on now. Let's just ask the question back. It's real simple. JJ, would you vote for a black Republican?
No, absolutely not.
There you go. There you go.
What
is
that? That is very hypocritical. That is very hypocritical.
JJ does seem racist.
You're racist now. You're fucking racist. No, it's not a race issue. I would say I think Timothy is a little bit different because I feel like there's two types of black people who vote for Trump. Either people like Timothy who's like, listen, fuck that, like what you said yesterday, which I respect your honesty. I can't say I respect the reason, but I do respect your honesty. You're like, listen, I'm black. We in this country. Shit is made for white folk. I'm making money under Trump. I don't give a fuck. That's what it is. There's those types of people. And then there's the other types of people like Clarence Thomas, who to me is not black. He sold his black card. He would never be invited. If we couldn't see him, we would think that he is white.
You know what's funny is that that motherfucker literally grew up dirt fucking poor in the deep fucking South. That motherfucker didn't have two rags to rub together, and he is what I find very ironic about that is that he is somebody that he almost epitomizes the American dream, despite a racist country and poverty. He had nothing, no connections, nothing. He accomplished more, I would say, in comparison to other Supreme Court justices, who many of them went to fucking boarding schools, who had a fucking silver spoon in their mouth. This motherfucker came from the trenches. He literally one of the what's really amazing about so many black people is that they cannot recognize you have a guy that grew up dirt fucking poor with nothing, and he made it. But you guys want to shit on him.
I don't think he fucks his mom, by the way.
Yeah. I'm curious why you would even ask the question of conservatives if they would vote for a black female president.
Me too.
Because what it says about a person is absolutely nothing. And yet it's presented like, oh, well, if you say no, then there must be something wrong with you. No. It says nothing of her.
That's not true at all. What it says is that
no, it's not true. Why is it so important?
I'll explain
that a person has to say, oh, of course I would vote for a black female president.
JJ,
why?
Yeah,
because we have to appease minorities so much that we're willing to say, well, this person may not be qualified, but I need to vote for her because otherwise people might think we're a bad person. The left might think we're terrible.
Alan,
Trump's not
qualified
to vote for him.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me tell you. This is what it really is. JJ, hold on now. JJ just thinks we're all racist. That's what it is. He thinks we're inherently racist. He's already proven my point. I asked him directly, would he vote for a black Republican? And he said no, he wouldn't. And he says it's not a race thing. These were JJ's own words. Why wouldn't that also be for us? Why wouldn't it not be a race thing? And that we wouldn't vote for a Democrat black?
No. That's not what I was saying.
But no, that's literally what you said. So if you ask me the question, would you vote for a Democrat black woman? Well, I haven't, at least one that identified as a black. I don't think she really was. She was Jamaican. An Indian, right? He was Indian. But it's the truth.
No, her father is black. I can show you a PCR, but anyway.
No, they were slave owners, is what they were.
Okay, they were black slave owners.
That was a helper.
They were slave owners. But JJ, it's about ideas, right?
It's not though, which is why I asked you that, because if you were to ask me, because if you were to ask me if I would vote for a white
black Republican.
Yeah, but we gave examples of like Condoleezza Rice and
I'm insulted. I hear you.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. I'm somebody who everybody says is a stupid, but I said over all of the fucking crackers, a Republican Democrat, I would really like prefer them over the my own kinfolk. That's not necessarily racist, but you are saying that you would not vote for any Republican that was black.
Right. But yeah, the difference is I wouldn't vote for them because they're Republican. I have no problem voting for a white man president. I just think that the problem that I have with y'all is I don't think that you would even vote for a black. That's why I asked.
In fact, I want an apology because I'm very offended by that you would even ask this question.
Why would you be offended by that, dude?
Why do you assume that we wouldn't vote for a black person?
I didn't assume. That's why I asked.
Why would you even ask? Why would you even have to ask?
Because
to be fair to JJ, you guys asked him a very specific question. Would he vote for a black Republican? Apparently his values are so, they feel like that they're so underrepresented amongst Republicans. And I'm guessing that's why he's saying he would vote for a Democrat no matter what, whether they're black or white. So I don't know that he's necessarily being as like tribal when it comes to race. So
I demand an apology.
For what, Beaver? Come on now. You're gonna tell me that the Republican Party, that look, even Trump, every time he gets into it, it's with a woman, and especially with black women.
Yes,
he always has to dehumanize them.
You got to be realistic with the question. If it's Condoleezza Rice versus Kamala Harris.
No. I'm saying even
I wouldn't vote for Condoleezza Rice. I mean, so
exactly.
Condoleezza Rice
level.
She's a horse.
With the color.
Are you talking about in a primary?
Again,
that's just because Christian hates all black.
A primary, JJ, a primary would be a better question. In a primary, would you vote? I voted for Ben Carson.
I said earlier.
Over Trump.
I said earlier.
Wait, stop talking. I'm talking to JJ. Hold on. JJ, are you asking about a primary or are you asking about head-to-head?
No, I guess what I'm saying is that I guess maybe another way to ask this is, would you be comfortable, all things considered, what do you call it, voting for somebody who represents your beliefs, your agenda, who is a black woman? Like
yes,
over somebody who's white that believes in something much different, you'd have to be fucking retarded not to.
Yeah, I don't care what
they are. Okay. Well, to be fair, Beaver and Pepe, y'all are not like there's a lot of other people here who said no. So
yeah,
shout out.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say that that a female president just does not work in as far as